Hello, welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We're your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we are passionate about good music and a great vocal, and we'll use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take on each contestant. Now, today's episode of the Pitchy Podcast is very special, being that season 23 has currently wrapped, and we have our winner, Miss Gina. We are excited to bring you the bonus editions of the Pitchy Podcast, and we'll sprinkle in a little extra excitement with the interviewings of former contestants of season 23. But this is one of my and Stephanie's favorite part because it's our opportunity to look back on the season and pick our top fives and honorable mentions in each of the different rounds of this past season, season 23 of NBC's The Voice. So without further ado, Stephanie, I am so nervous because we are here to talk about the blinds and our top five.
Yes.
When Stephanie and I originally took on this endeavor and thought about, how are we going to end the season when we started in season 22, I think I first suggested the top 10, and Stephanie said, no way. You have to cut that list down.
Yeah. Yeah, because we'd be talking forever.
We would be talking forever, and y'all don't have the time, and we don't have the time, because as Stephanie always says, these are our real lives.
Yes.
So as I pull up this list, I'm getting, my palms are sweating. I'm a little nervous to go through this list, but I think it would be best if we started with our honorable mentions.
Yes.
And let's ping pong back and forth, Stephanie.
Okay.
And this is in no particular order as far as our honorable mentions. And I'm going to venture to say, I can't speak for Stephanie, but I have a feeling she probably would agree with me that probably these honorable mentions could have easily been on our top five list.
Yes. Yes, that's why they're honorable mentions, because their names needed to come out of my mouth when we talked about the blind auditions and our favorites. And since we had agreed to top five, I was like, what am I going to do? Because there's this one and this one and this one. And there's, to be honest, there are like 2 or 3 others that I could have mentioned. It was really, really difficult to narrow it down.
It was next to impossible.
Mm-hmm.
I think as the rounds got further along, it would get easier, but this just goes to show what we've been saying this entire season, how incredible the talent was.
Yes.
And I recently learned, I never really counted the number, but by speaking to a previous contestant, I recently learned that there's 40 people that make it past the blinds.
Yeah, at least for season 23. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For this season, there was 40 people that made it past the blind. So I'm how can you narrow this down? But we got to.
We have to.
We got some business to attend to, Stephanie.
Yes.
All right. So you want me to jump it off, or you want to jump it off?
You go ahead first.
Okay. First honorable mention for me is a soulful singer, a soulful singer in her own right.
I know.
And that would be Allie with "Killing Me Softly."
Oh, yes.
That is my first. And again, remember, these honorable mentions are in no particular order.
That's right.
I just wanted to start off with a really strong one.
Yeah, that is strong. That is strong.
Make a statement.
Yes.
All right, Stephanie, who's your first honorable mention?
First, like we said, no in no particular order. But the first I will mention is Kylie Dane, Falling Water, Maggie Rogers. Incredible performance.
Oh, that was one that did not make this list, either under honorable mention or my top 5 lines. And it killed me.
Yeah.
Kylie was one of my favorite singers this season.
Yeah.
I went back and watched that performance again this morning, Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hurt that she didn't make it.
Okay, well, I'll share that Allie wasn't on my list. I know. That's how ridiculous. That's how ridiculous. And I think as we talk through some of these performances, we'll see why. And some of the artists that we might not mention in this episode will definitely be coming up in the battles and knockouts and playoffs and all that. So
and
just wanted to mention that. And some will be, yes.
Some will be repeated.
Yes.
But with a little foreshadowing, I have a very strange feeling that our number ones will probably be the same.
It might. You never know.
You never know. Okay, up next. Up next is, I'm not going to do it in the order that I wrote it down, but up next is Sheer Element, Leave the Door Open. For me, those harmonies were so luscious. It's the best word I can use to describe. And I expected really big things from this group this season. So I was kind of shocked when they didn't really go that far, because I was like, are you kidding me? The arrangement of Leave the Door Open was bananas. So that was one of my honorable mentions. I loved it.
Excellent.
Because they were all featured.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent choice. My next choice for honorable mention is Sorella, Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy by Queen. Those ladies, their 3-part harmony was so incredible, and their arrangement of that song was so incredible. They had to be mentioned.
The only reason why I didn't put Sorella on my list, which again would have easily been on my list, is because they're going to be on my list downstream.
Yes.
And I wanted to put one of the trios on my list.
Yes.
And being that we didn't get to hear really Sheer Element past the blinds, I had to put them on my list because that was one of the ones I played back over and over again. And that brings a good point. Like, for me, Stephanie, this list was comprised of who did I go back and play over and over. I'm talking about both of these lists. These are the people that I went back and played over and over and over and over again because I was so impressed. So,
well, I'll tell you my criteria, because it's interesting to let the viewers know that our criteria, we don't talk about how we get to where we get to. We come up with that on our own. So for me, it was who made instant impact, who made huge impact right out the gate, like boom.
Right.
So that was mine.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So next on my list is Miss Akala Bonham with the Joni Mitchell. Oh gosh, that song breaks my heart.
Yes.
In a good way. Both sides now.
Yes.
Kala made it so clear that she was coming with a voice that no one else had really ever heard. Kind of like how Kim came in the previous season.
Yes.
Where you're like, wait a second, you don't hear that type of voice.
Exactly.
Or I may have never have heard that type of voice before. And Kala did that throughout the entire competition, and went very far in the competition.
Yes.
But yeah, I had to. I can't believe Kala was not in my top 5 for best blind auditions. I just okay. All right. Who's next for you?
Kala Bonham.
Yes.
She was on my honorable.
Why did you give your honorable mention, Steph? Why'd you put her
there? Same reason. Like, I could not mention her. I could not mention her. That for me, there were others that made a different kind of impact, but the performance was just so good that I couldn't not mention it.
And it was good to go back and watch that performance because I also loved like her parents. Like, I loved. Her mom was sobbing.
Yes.
Like she just was so excited when those chairs turned. That's another reason why I love the blinds, to see because that's when you get to bring one or two or a group of people to support you. Like, your support. That's like the only time you get to bring your support.
Right.
Your team of support.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I got one more.
Okay.
And I couldn't leave my honorable mentions without mentioning our friend of the show, Miss Tasha Jessen and River. I had to mention Tasha, and I just got chills thinking about that. This was, I've heard different versions of this song. And of course, the incomparable Leon Bridges did it originally.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I kind of put Kala in that same category. Like Kala and Tasha were the two this season where I was like, ain't nobody sounding like them.
Right.
Like the both of them had this completely new sound.
Yes.
And that's another thing that got me really excited about this season, that there were multiple singers, not just Kala and Tasha, that had this new sound. There were multiple singers that had sounds that you just didn't hear.
Right.
And so I had to put Tasha. And again, Tasha, I'm going to talk about her downstream because there was another performance that you and I both know where it was transcendent, that she did later in the competition. But I had to put her in my honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm. Yep, me too. Me too.
She's your fourth?
Yes, she's my fourth honorable mention for many of the same reasons. Like, it was just an outstanding performance that I could not mention.
Okay. So here we are.
Top five.
Let's get down to business.
5. Okay.
I'm going to have you start it because I started honorable mention.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay.
Stephanie, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. My number 5 was Sheer Element. Leave the Door Open.
Oh, I knew you loved. I was like, how could she not remember? How could she not put in Sheer Element? But then I was like, of course she's going to put it into her top 5 because Stephanie loved this performance.
Okay, it was so good. They had me saying Pentatonix Who, remember? Like, their harmonies were so tight. But I think the thing that was really outstanding about them was that we got to hear them each individually as well. And they were all so very strong, yet different individually. But then when they came together, their blend was so on point. It was ridiculous. Crazy. I love this song. So there's a song bias for me as well. Love the song. So hear what they did artistically to arrange that song for the three of them was fantastic. And again, each one of them just felt like a star on their own. For the way that they were able to come together and create that audition, like they had the coaches saying, how many of them are there? Are there 3? Are there 4? Are there 5?
They were like,
just because their sound. Just because their sound was that dynamic. So they were my number 5.
And being that this is this song by Silk Sonic is kind of a throwback. It's a now song, obviously, but it's a throwback to the 70s soul sound, 60s, 70s soul sound of those groups. We've heard this song done a lot on shows, on singing competition shows in the last few years since the song's come out. And it's a lot of times it's been a copycat performance. A lot of time nothing really big was brought to it, but like you said, they brought something new. It sounded like a new song.
It did.
It did. That was awesome. Okay. Number 5. My number 5 is Magnus, Sarah Smile, Falling Oaks. And I'm getting chills because I'm thinking back to how you, like like you said, my list was comprised of, the immediate effect or the immediate impact on how these singers brought it. And I remember you saying that he had you with the first, 3 words.
Yes, he had me and Chance. Because if you remember, he's Magnus
what's
said,
the first lyric of that song?
Baby hair. Baby hair. Bop. And Chance was like all in upon hearing the instrumentation at the very beginning of the song. He knew exactly what it was. So he was ready. All he needed to hear was Magnus deliver on those first 2 lines. And he was in. So
baby hair. Like Magnus, he made love to the song. Like he really did. Like it was very intimate. It was a very intimate performance.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that to be funny or overly sexual. It wasn't overly sexualized or anything like that.
No.
He caressed it. He loved it. He loved the song. And it was just so smooth. It was
so smooth.
It's like he sang it, in my opinion, he sang it smoother than the original. Because it was just like this whole groove vibe.
Thank you. Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
so my number 5 is Magnus, Sarah Smiles, Hall and Oates.
Come
Wow.
on.
Okay, so share element you.
Yes.
Leave the door open. Which
Yes.
it's interesting because the songs are kind of in the same genre of
Yes.
the of music.
Yes.
So that's
Absolutely.
interesting. Here we
Yes.
go, Stephanie.
Here we
Okay,
go.
number 4. Actually, you know what, Stephanie? You know, let's change it up. Let's alternate, right?
Okay.
So I'll give you my number 4 first, and then you give me your number 4 second, and then we'll switch it back again.
Sounds
Okay?
good.
All right.
Yep.
So my number 4 is our country girl, and you're going to guess which country girl it is?
Holly.
Miss Holly Brand, Mississippi girl. M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-M-I, crooked letter, I,
Come
crooked letter.
through.
Mississippi girl. Holly, again, every time I'm mentioning all of this is how I know that these people are the right people to be on my top 5 list, because I'm getting chills every time I'm thinking about these performances, and I'm not even listening to them right now in my good ears. Holly came like a juggernaut. Like she came like a comet. Like like I don't know, like the biggest mass, like a supernova.
Yes.
Like it was. And then talking to some of the contestants that we have, like, and it makes sense now. Like, one of the contestants that we interviewed said Holly had probably the most control over her voice out of all the contestants that they heard. And coming from this particular contestant, that's a huge compliment.
Yes.
And you could tell, like, Holly always had control over her voice, but the control was, she could do anything with her voice.
Anything.
Like anything. She had the whistle. She had the chest. She had the yodel. She had the head voice. She had the twang. She had the runs. She had it all. And then you know, and they should, in my opinion, they should have never said she was a pageant girl, because I'd have called y'all a liar.
Right.
I'd been like, no way. Because, you know, we stereotypically think of pageant as like over dramatic and not that good of a singer, but you know, this and Holly was seasoned. Holly was it, y'all.
Holly was it.
Holly was my original person to win the you know, in the format of this show. I think she was the one I said she's going to take it all. Yeah. And she keeps singing like this, as she did.
As she did.
I said she keeps singing like this, she's going to take it all. Winner takes it all, as opposites. Let me tell you. Stephanie, number 4.
My number 4 is Holly Brand, Mississippi girl.
Stephanie, I promise you all, we did not compare notes. We purposely don't talk when we comprise these lists.
Right. Just piggybacking on the whole pageant girl thing. I know the bias that I had in my head, and we spoke to this in the original podcast episode about Holly. When they mentioned pageant girl, I had it in my mind what she was going to be. She came out and proved me wrong in the biggest way. It was so impactful. She was a pro the minute she stepped on that stage. And just like you said, James, she had everything. And I think the thing that Holly always managed to do, which other vocalists that we've had on the show have tried to do, and it doesn't work all the time, but something that Holly managed to do in almost, if not all of her performances, is throw out all the tricks that she has. The chest, the head, the false, tastefully. And that's why she was able to execute this. That's why it worked for her to be able to show everything that she could do in every performance, because she knew how to pick her spots, pick her places, and to just throw things in falsetto or the flip or the yodel or the twang or the whatever. She knew how to do that in a tactful way. For the most impact for her performance. And it was outstanding. So she's my number 4.
All right. So here we are, y'all. The same number 4. Holly Brand, Mississippi girl.
Yep.
All right, Stephanie, you got number 3 first. Take it away.
My number 3 is Alley Keck, Paris Ooh La La, Grace Potter, and the Nocturnals.
I mean, listen, I might as well just say that's my number 3 too.
I will tell you why, and then James, you can share why. We have not
I'm so
had.
mad at you, Stephanie. I'm so
I'm
mad
so
at
mad
you.
at you. We have not had a rocker chick, and I mean this in the best way, on this show deliver like Allie delivered for this song. She was the perfect blend of the Janis Joplin and the Ann Wilson, that rock grit, power range,
But
cool tone
soul.
with soul. Her performance was awesome. As I like to say, all lines were finished. Her performance was exciting. It was so exciting and impactful to me. That song is chef's kiss. Like, it was the perfect song. It was the perfect vocal. It was the perfect energy. It was the perfect performance. And it was a genre of music that we have not had a lot, especially in women. We've had male artists come on and do the rock thing, many this season actually, but we have not had many women come on and give like she gave with that song. It was outstanding.
It was. And Allie, I hope you watch this show because I'm about to say something. You were my biggest disappointment of this season. And not you, Allie. I was disappointed in the voice.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in the voice. I was disappointed in the coaches.
Yes.
Because there ain't no reason in God's green earth that you did not get further in the competition.
That's right. That's right.
Because Allie, like, seriously, you have one of the greatest voices on this season, and voices, period. I have never, like, I'm put you in Holly in the same category of attack. Both of you attacked. Like, you didn't even if you were fighting someone, the person didn't even get a punch in. They couldn't even breathe. They couldn't even breathe. It was sensational. You attacked. I've never seen anyone attack an audition. And, like, literally, I watched you just this morning, Allie. I watched your audition 5 times.
You cannot watch it just once.
Just 5. I watched you.
You can't. She had her hand up. Ooh la 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 la. I said yes. Like, that's what you want to see.
No, it was an attack.
Like, and
like,
the band.
You got a minute 30.
A minute 30. James, that band was happy, wasn't they? That band was so happy. Oh.
And the thing is like, I thought for the type of voice and the grit and the soul that she had in her, like you said, how are you going to, like, Kelly Clarkson put 2 of the greatest female rockers of all time in Ann Wilson and Janis Joplin in your throat. Like,
right.
Seriously? Like you were a hybrid of 2 of the greatest female rockers. That alone should say something. And what was crazy is I thought for the type of grit and soul that you had in your voice, like, I thought you were dressed very conservatively.
Yeah.
Like, okay, she looks like, like someone who
she looked like a businesswoman.
Yeah, like
almost.
Business.
Yeah.
She took that mic.
Listen, she took that mic. She was all business. She was all music business. Oh,
Alley Cat, let me tell you.
Alley Cat.
Well, Alley Cat, you were like number 1 on my list, almost. Like, because I'm gonna talk about you again downstream.
Yes, we will.
Because I'm gonna talk about you again, Allie.
Yeah.
We'll get ready. But
Stay tuned.
We as Pitchy Podcast are huge fans, huge fans.
Yes.
Of that incredible God-given instrument that you
have.
Woo! All right.
Ooh la la. Ooh la la.
Ooh, Paris. Ooh la la. She said, if I was in Paris, I'd say, ooh. Okay, my number 2. Number 2. Gosh. On this artist who wrote these songs made 2 of my lists, so it's got to be a Joni Mitchell song. And that's J.B. Summer, A Case of You.
I knew he was going to be on your list.
Had to be.
I knew he was going to be on your list.
J.B. Summer, A Case of You was my number 2. JB, like, you brought out an emotion in me like every time you sang, like it was like I wanted to weep in the best way. Like I could feel the pain of your sister's death. I could feel the pain of you, you know, struggling with your sexuality and coming out. I could feel the pain of, but this was in the best way. It wasn't sadness, but
Right.
I could feel that in the emotion of your performance. And you're another one, the control that you had over your voice, I'll never forget when Chance said, I'm not going to turn around until I hear the falsetto, until I hear the flip into the high section, and then just how you navigate through through the passaggio or the passage of your voice, how you navigate through your head, your falsetto, your mix, your everything. It was just masterful. And I want to continually hear you sing. Like I loved it. So that's my number 2, JB Summer, A Case of You, singing Joni Mitchell with such it was a tenderness. It was such a he took his time. It was so tender and so authentic.
Yeah.
It really hit me. All right. So
I'm cheating because I'm just going to say his name, JB. I have to just say your name. You were my like 5th honorable mention. I have to say your name because it was a gorgeous performance. It was an outstanding. It was impactful. It was a voice and a vocal that I feel like I have not heard in years. Like that sound I have not heard in years. It was a beautiful performance. Absolutely. Yeah. So my number 2 is Magnus. Sarah Smile by Hall & Oates.
I was like, where is he? Where is he? I said,
He's number 2.
Stephanie had too big of a reaction to that song, like for him not to be on any of her lists. And I remember playing Stephanie in poker because she has the best poker face, because you would never like, because Stephanie was like, that's good.
Yeah. It was just absolutely, me and Chance were on the same wavelength. Baby hair, bop. I would have said bop too.
And it was ludicrous that no one else turned.
Okay, I have in my notes, 1 chair turn, ? Because that vocal was insane. Because we've had artists before where we think about, James, whether we would have turned or not. Sure. And we've had artists before where it's been like 1 line in and we hit the button and then they continue to sing and it's like, ooh, we have a little bop. Yeah, we have a little regret. The thing about Magnus's performance is that as soon as Chance turned around, like his performance continued to up itself. Yeah. Like the things he was doing, it just it elevated. His tone is so rich. His vibrato is so rich. His lows were delicious. His chest voice was so strong and powerful, yet tender at the same time. His runs were incredible. Everything that man did in this song. And again, I have a song bias. So I love this song. So the minute that guitar went, done. Like, I don't care what he would have sounded like. I'm saying somebody needs to turn for him. But again, the best thing about it was that the performance, it should have been a 4-chair turn, and there is no reason why. It makes me think that somebody was like, the producers were like, we need to give Chance one or something.
Justin Aaron of this season, right?
Yes,
how Justin was only a 1-chair turn.
Yes.
We were like, and I understand why he was a 1-chair turn, because he did the cardinal sin of singing John Legend's song.
Justin did. Yes,
more than redeemed himself.
Right, more than yes.
Hey, Justin, he more than redeemed himself. But yeah, like I still don't understand why Justin didn't get more turns, because he had the crazy vocal. But
right,
Magnus was it was so slick. It was so slick.
It was amazing.
That's the best word.
Yes,
best word I had. It was just slick.
Yes.
Woo! All right, drum roll, please. I don't think this is a surprise, so I'm not gonna get excited, because I pretty much know because of the way we both reacted to this. And I know I'm being presumptive, but I have a strong feeling what Stephanie's number one is, because my number one is the same thing.
And this person has not been mentioned yet. And
No,
if this person has not been mentioned yet, then we yeah.
there was no, in my opinion, there was no audition even close.
Mm.
As far as if you put every thing that Stephanie and I like about
Yes.
singing and a performance, and you mold them together.
Yes, that is a great way of putting it, because there were some vocals that might have been on par, but there's something else about this performance
There was
that
an
put it.
X factor.
There was an X factor.
And she is a friend of the show, and this has nothing to do with her being a friend of the show, because Stephanie will tell you that when she sent this audition to me, I was driving, I was in York, Pennsylvania at a conference. I was driving down the main drag in York, Pennsylvania, in the middle of the city, and Stephanie just, as Stephanie would often do, politely texted me the leak of this a blind audition. I don't even think you had said anything yet in the text. You just sent it to me, and I immediately played it because I still had a little bit of time before I got to the restaurant I was going to, and I heard I heard this voice, and the first thing I thought was passion. I said, whoever this is, I knew that this person was so passionate. It's by the opening line. I didn't even realize it was a Harry Styles song.
Right. Right.
And I just was like, and then I just kept listening. And then I literally almost crashed the car. Stephanie, who was our number one?
Our number one is The Kate Martin,
The Kate Martin.
As It Was by Harry Styles.
There's not much more to say because we fell all over it when we recorded about it now months ago. And other than the fact that it was delicate, like everything that we talked about with everyone else in our top 5, Kate was a combination of all of those things. Her audition, it was powerful, it was passionate, it was sexy, it was intimate, it was just so many things.
And it was a unique arrangement.
Yeah.
I think that is part of the X factor, which puts her at number one, because her vocal was outstanding. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
The arrangement of that song, which is a now song, to make it so that you only, like, it basically took me for her to say, it's not the same as it was. I was like, wait, that's Harry Styles. This is Harry Styles. She flipped Harry Styles and made it her own. It was gorgeous.
It was, and I think if I remember correctly, because I haven't listened back to that podcast in a minute, but I think the word we used was nuanced.
Yeah.
It was the nuances. It's like holding me back.
Yes.
Like it wasn't just holding me back. Like,
no.
Oh. I'm not Kate. I can't even do it justice. It was a perfect performance.
It really was. It really was.
It was from start to finish.
Yes.
Kate also made herself vulnerable in the performance. I think she invited us into her heart in that performance, which was another thing. And then she just, I think I even said that Kate had the Serena Williams effect, where Kate had this next gear that no one really has in her voice. Just when you think that she is at the top level of execution of her voice, it takes it to another stratospheric level of execution.
Yes.
Like, and kind of what she did towards the end of the song.
And that is when it was Blake and maybe Niall who hadn't yet turned, but that part where you're talking about is exactly when they were like, we can't help but turn. We got to hit our button,
Right.
because what she did at that back half of that song was just like otherworldly.
Right.
It was undeniable. They would have looked.
It was already the best audition.
Yeah.
Of in my and Stephanie's opinion, of the best blind audition of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But what Kate did artistically, musically on the back half of the song separated her.
Yes. Yeah.
Separated her, because we already thought it was the best audition, but then at the end, like, we just were like, we were slayed.
We were slayed.
We were slayed. So our number one is, like Stephanie said, Kate Martin, As It Was.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Stephanie. I'm surprised, but not surprised that our top fives had a lot of the same.
Yeah.
Just, in fact, no, our top fives were the same, just in different order.
No, we didn't. I didn't have JB.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And you didn't have Sheer Element.
And Sheer Element. Okay, yeah. But all of our top fives and honorable mentions, we had.
Most of them were the same. Most of them were the same. And something really interesting that I noticed about my list, my top five at least, 4 of the 5 of my top 5 were from Team Kelly.
Wow.
Sheer Element, Holly, Allie Keck, and Kate Martin. They were all Team Kelly. The only one that was not was Magnus from Team Chance.
Team Chance. What was JB? Was he?
He was Kelly.
Niall. Was he?
I thought he was Kelly.
Kelly? Yes.
I thought he was Kelly.
He may have been Kelly. So I had Chance, Kelly.
Isn't that something? That is so crazy.
Yeah. Kelly.
Yeah, JB was Team Kelly.
Yeah.
Come on, Kelly.
We said
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, what a wonderful, fun episode. We told y'all it wasn't going to be that long, and please stay tuned for because we're going to do this all the way up until the end with the different sections of the competition.
Mm-hmm.
So, Stephanie, tell everybody what they need to hear.
Sure. So don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. And also, we are on YouTube as well. Please search for the Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more.
All right. So until we meet again, Stephanie, I cannot wait to see what your battles list, and everybody knows that watches Big Podcast, it battles is James's favorite round.
Yes.
So I got to take a lot of time on this one, but not too much time, because we'll get that list to you sooner than later.
Yes.
All right, everyone. See you later.
Bye-bye.